Hi, it's Chris with Implied Music here with my year-end video. So I'm not really a New Year's resolution type of person. I think New Year's resolutions are sort of for amateurs. The progress that we make as musicians and that I make just, as an individual is incremental. It happens in small steps all the time. And this year's been a great example of that. First of all, just about the channel in general, I began doing this sort of thing in 2019, I think was my first video, but I honestly didn't get serious about it right away. I'd drop a video here and there. A couple of those early videos have a lot of views, and that was exciting to me. I got galvanized by a couple of ideas during 2020 when I just had to stop gigging and stop the theater sound design work that I was doing because everything shut down. And the idea that I think that excited me the most was the idea of trying to put forward a kind of music theory that would allow individuals, each of you specifically, to develop an approach to your own music theory. I spent a lot of time writing out the ideas, but what I finally realized was I just need to start sharing the process that I've been through. And the process that I've been through has been not standard. I'm not a conservatory trained musician per se. I began as a pianist and quickly left my teacher. You couldn't tell me anything. When I was young, I was thick-headed and thought I was smarter than anybody. And as a result, it took years for me to get to a place where I began to understand some basic stuff. It's a little embarrassing to me looking back on it. All that said, however, there is something really powerful about finding your own path. I was very lucky to find a teacher at my college, which is a very independently minded undergraduate school, Hampshire College in Western Massachusetts, a teacher in Dr. Roland Wiggins who had a particular skill set that was unique. Great pianist, a scientific mind, a melody nerd. He got me thinking about music in a new way. And that was a long time ago, right? For me, I'm 63. And the steps from there were not linear. Music became a way of engaging with the world for me as a kind of an introvert. It was hard for me to find a place, but the use of music in theater and dance became an avenue of expression and profession for me. I was a ballet accompanist and dance accompanist for many years. I was principal pianist at Boston Ballet, principal pianist in the school at Boston Ballet for several years while I lived in Boston. I studied a little bit at New England Conservatory with Paul Barringer, the pianist there, and he changed my technique for the better. There's no question about that. And then when I moved here to San Francisco, it was all theater. I started writing for theater, sound designing, and for 20 years, that was pretty much my main gig, along with teaching. Now, honestly, that's a 20-year detour for me, because since I've put theater aside, and it really was time for me to put theater aside because it's a young person's job, and also it's time to make room for other people, other voices. When I put that aside, things exploded for me. Musical ideas, creative ideas in general, the amount of time it takes to do all this stuff is crazy, right? So I had more time, and I had time to start working on this channel, time to start writing more. 2 albums from the past few years for me are Essel and Sky, which came directly out of my work with the yoga teacher T.S. Little and the meditation teacher Henry Schuckman, who they're both in Santa Fe. And then the most recent album terrain, which is a deeper, I think really a deeper exploration of listening and just being in place. Now, being in place is a really interesting thing, right? Being right where we are, right here, right now, being where I am here is not an easy thing for me. I have to consciously choose to do it again and again and again. And the same thing's true for playing music. When you're playing, when you're performing, the conscious choice to be with what I'm doing, with what is happening here, is one which has to be made over and over again. This hasn't been an easy year for anyone. I've lost musicians that I know and loved to a disease which probably could have been at least not as bad as it was if it hadn't been for a bunch of factors. And I'll admit to being a little frustrated and irritated by it. But at the same time, this year has been a chance for me to connect with my subscribers, with each of you, connect with people that are interested in improving. I was talking about what I would say today on this video with my partner, Susan. And we went round and round on it a little bit. First thing in the morning, she was very generous with her time. And finally, she said, you know, Chris, what you're saying to your subscribers, what you say in your video is what you need to hear yourself. Chris, you're talking to yourself. So I am talking to myself. And if I'm talking to myself, what I'm saying is keep it up, step by step. Set a goal, set another goal. Be with yourself in this moment. That's enough. And as my mom used to say when she tucked me in, tomorrow's another day. Well, I hope this has been useful. It's a lot of chit chat, but it comes from a place of gratitude and admiration for the work that we're doing here. I'll see you next time.